venture capitalist Tim Draper is preparing to help launch a startup building an electric aerial passenger vehicle to be unveiled later this month, just a few weeks after the high-profile flameout of a flying car company backed by Google co-founder Larry Page. In this video, I bring you the news in detail. Make sure you stick with me to the end. Without any further delay, let's get into it. Google co-founder's flying car startup is winding down. Kitty Hawk was founded as Z Aero in 2010 when Page recruited Sebastian Thrun, who had worked on self-driving cars and other experimental projects at Google, to create electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft. The company unveiled a demonstration video of a flying car in 2017, and Thrun said he envisioned a time when people would be able to hail flying cars through an app like Lyft or Uber. And in 2018, Kitty Hawk showcased a flying car model called the Flyer that could hold one person and fly up to 20 miles. Thrun told CNBC in an interview earlier that year that the models could take to the skies within 5 years. The company announced a strategic partnership with airplane manufacturer Boeing the following year. However, by 2020, Kitty Hawk announced plans to shut down its Flyer program and shift focus to its electric aircraft called Heaviside, according to reports. According to what a spokesperson told CNBC, the announcement will not affect the partnership with Boeing. Kitty Hawk's decision to cease operations does not change Boeing's commitment to Wisk. They stated that they are proud to be a founding member of Wisk Aero and are excited to see the work they are doing to drive innovation and sustainability through the future of electric air travel, and that they do not expect Kitty Hawk's announcement to affect Wisk's operations or other activities in any way. Just weeks after Kitty Hawk wound down, flying car startup Alef emerged. The new startup, Alef Aeronautics Inc, is focused on developing a vehicle that looks more like a car than a small helicopter that would set it apart from most companies in an emerging industry building so-called electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicles. The founders of Alef haven't said much publicly about their startup, but they've been working on it since 2015. According to Alef's website, which recently went live, a small group of engineers has been developing the vehicle in San Mateo, California, with the goal of making a real car that can take off vertically and be affordable for most people and not just the rich. The company, formerly called Alef Aeronautics, showed a small-scale model to Draper several years ago, and he was impressed. Alef confirmed that the demonstration was enough to convince Draper to become the pioneering investor in the company. A full-size prototype was flown for the first time in 2019. Alef's website contains few other details about the project, though it says the exterior was developed by former Bugatti designer Hirash Razagi. Draper has long been connected to what could be called the personal air mobility industry. He was soliciting proposals for a flying car as far back as 2004. He has since invested in 2 different jetpack startups through his fund, Draper Associates, including one that is also working on a motorcycle-style flying vehicle. Draper didn't respond to a request for comment. Next up, let's talk about 5 flying car startups soaring high to make flying cars a reality. Today, flying cars are exactly what cars were in the 1900s, massively in the prototyping and testing stage, and companies compete over research rather than production. A good number of flying car companies are trying to pave their way into the flying car industry. They're all constantly innovating the aerodynamics of their vertical takeoff and landing vehicles to outreach their contenders, actively raising funds and racking up millions and even billions of dollars. Getting backed up by automotive veterans, these startups genuinely aspire to rule the skyline. As such, with an enormous upsurge in population, eventually leading to unavoidable traffic congestion, flying cars have to be the future of the transportation industry. As we go further into the video, you'll very often encounter the term VTOL, which means vertical takeoff and landing. This term is the core requirement to make any flying car a reality, at least to date. VTOL signifies an aircraft that both lands and takes off vertically to and from the ground, and if electrically powered, it is retermed as an electric VTOL or eVTOL. VTOLs make it possible to launch an aircraft in minimal horizontal space, eradicating the need for a runway, adding to which the aircraft could be flown through much lesser space, providing more efficient maneuverability than any conventional aircraft. Many flying car startups and companies today are aspiring to soar high in tomorrow's cityscape, and if you are one of them, or a die-hard fan of flying cars, then you might want to beat all forms of distractions and pay attention. So put your seatbelts on as you pay detailed attention to this part of the video, because I have come up with a list of the most competent flying car companies to date. Ready for takeoff? Here we go! The first company on our list is SkyDrive. officially established and recognized as SkyDrive in 2018. This flying car startup began its journey way back in 2012, founded by a voluntary group of individuals recognized as Cartivator. Ringing its bell loud and clear, planning to leave a vivid footprint in the flying car industry, SkyDrive seems to be heavily backed by the veteran auto giant Toyota. SkyDrive amassed 3.9 billion yen from the Series B round of the fundraising. This is a direct indication of how eagerly this startup wants to rule tomorrow's skyline. This flying car company is majorly focusing on making its fly vehicles compact, lightweight, and completely emission-free. The elementary electric aircraft structure of the one-seater and two-seater concept model majorly adds to the compact and affordable nature of the fly vehicles. Very recently, in August 2020, the startup declared the successful completion of the first-ever manned test flight of its first single-seater flying car prototype. With that being a success, the company has also brought in talks about the development of a concept model two-seater flying vehicle, which may officially be introduced in the year 2023, hovering around the coastal areas of Tokyo and Osaka in Japan. The second company that needs to be mentioned in this video is Joby Aviation, akin to numerous other successful auto giants. This startup also began its journey to the sky out of a barn. Yes, you heard that right. In 2012, a group of very passionate individuals toiled until this day in the mountains above Santa Cruz. The engineers at Joby Aviation believed in studying the fundamentals of aircraft and then building each component from scratch. After kickstarting alone, the company looked like envisioning and practicing the idea of collaborating and rising. With NASA having its back, Joby very luckily got to set foot in the flying car industry and collaborate on multiple electric aircraft projects. It has successfully completed its pre-production prototype testing and is now mainly working with close-by engineers from Toyota, guiding Joby with their mastery in mass-scale production and factory layouts. With the vision of making the best use of what's already there, in 2020, Joby had a breakthrough expansion by acquiring Uber Elevate. This would surely provide an upper edge to Joby by getting it integrated into Uber App's ride-sharing aerial service. Next up, Lilium. This Germany-based startup knows how to blend luxury with quality. Keeping that in mind, it is rapidly trying to radically transform the transportation industry. Led by a team of 750-plus members, Lilium is bestowed with a group of aviation experts, leading business executives, and immensely qualified engineers. Being aided by established partners such as Tencent, Bailey Gifford, Atomico, ABB, Palantir, Honeywell, and Ferrovial Airports, it is very confidently ascending its prototypes up in the air. Unlike other flying car startups, Lilium envisions ruling the regional aerial mobility, and not just urban aerial mobility. One of the bright aspects of Lilium is that it is the sole eVTOL company looking forward to having a dual certification with FAA as well as European Union Aviation Safety Agency. In 2020, Lilium also topped the Top Startup 2020 in Germany list, published by LinkedIn. The next company on our list is Archer Aviation. Archer Aviation has a very distinct motive of bringing sustainable air mobility to the world. Not only isn't making its flying aircraft a luxury for the super rich out there, but also a service that is affordable to the masses. Archer made it very clear that their goal is to make their electric aircraft just as safe as commercial airliners. In order to excel in this aspect, it has deliberately tried to lower the maintenance costs as well as operation and energy costs. Archer also claimed that its unique design will also offer passengers increased safety while producing minimal noise compared to helicopters. Wrapping it up, we have Aeromobile. Aeromobile today is a result of over 350,000 hours and over 10 years of diligent research work. A car to drive on the road and park in the garage? We might find it comprehensible today, but was it in years as early as the 1980s? Way back in 1989, when we were still adoring and finding the working of an aircraft wondrous, this flying car company had begun researching ways to develop hybrid car aircrafts. In 2014, the Aeromobile 3.0 prototype flying car was unveiled. Consistently researching and innovating unstoppingly, Aeromobile introduced a new concept model named Aeromobile 4.0 4 years later. That concludes today's video. If you found the video helpful, please do consider giving us a thumbs up, and don't forget to share the video with your friends and family. See you next time!